let's give it another 2-3 minutes. See if anyone else joins.
Okay.
How's everyone doing?
Pretty good.
Happy Friday.
My daughter's teacher would call it Friday.
Friday, yes. What's the temperature like today? I haven't checked.
Hot.
It's hot. No, it doesn't seem like it's as bad as it has been the last few days.
That's 104 out here. So.
And where are you?
Out in Santa Clarita. So Jasmine.
Oh my gosh,
Maria
yeah.
should be warmer than that.
We might be less than 100 in Northern California. Well, 96 or so.
Surprisingly, ours says 95.
Yep, I'm in the Canoga Park area, and that's about in the West Valley. That's about what it says here too. So I think you got us beat, Dr. Loy.
All right, make us feel good here.
Yeah. You think this is our group for the day?
We should text Gary. He might have forgotten.
I will.
So today, I think we are going to, I plan to talk about technologies for mindfulness practice. And I don't have a PowerPoint plan for today. I think I just wanted to show you some of the technologies that I use for mindfulness practice. And it would be great if we could have a conversation about if you use any kind of technologies for mindfulness through your smartphones or just on the internet through your computers. It'd be great to talk about those things as well and just kind of share some resources. But maybe let's start off with a little bit of meditation. How about we do that? So I use I'm going to be interrupted a bunch by my cat. She's all of a sudden decided that she's awake and is very excited to see me. So this is one of my favorite technologies for mindfulness practice. This is the singing bowl. Can you all hear the sound? I love the sound of singing bowls. I collect a number of different singing bowls, and there's all different kinds of singing bowls. This one is machine made. It's not handmade. I have a handmade singing bowl that I'll show you in a little bit. But I think they're wonderful tools for just capturing your attention. The sound of a bell is, I think, really indicative of a lot of the principles of mindfulness practice. Our experiences come and they stay with us and then they fade away. And every moment is like that. There's a beginning and there's a experience of the moment, and then there's a fading away of the moment. It's like the breath. Breath comes in and breath goes out, right? Very much like the sound of a bell. So I want to use the sound of the bell to just start a meditation, and we'll meditate for just maybe 5 to 10 minutes. We'll see how things go. I know in our previous sessions, we've talked about different methods that can be used for meditation, and want to make sure that everyone has a method that we've used in the past, or that maybe a meditation method that you have of your own. And if you don't, we can review some of the meditation methods or a meditation method that we've used in the past. Does everybody have a meditation method, or should we review? Go ahead and raise your hand.
I don't have a very big repertoire.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could meditate when you're doing your stretching.
Of
daily
course.
stretching.
Yeah. And there's all, I think we've talked about in the past too, that my meditation practice is actually and if I had the camera set up, I could show you some of the moving meditations. It's actually a moving meditation practice. So I practice, I'll put this in the chat, a art called Qigong. And you may also see it written like this. You may also see it written like this. Oops, it's not Qigong. There's many different ways to spell it. And Qi is the idea of that is kind of a life essence that we all have. It's like prana in yogic traditions, or it is, if you are familiar with acupuncture, Qi is the energy that moves through the meridians in the bodies that may be obstructed, and acupressure needles can oftentimes stimulate the Qi movement in a meridian, or it can help to remove an obstruction. And that the theory is that our body is filled with a number of different, Qi carrying meridians, and some of them are large and some of them are very small. They're connected to our organs. It's quite an involved medical practice, which has a long tradition. Anyways, so Qi is that kind of life energy, and then the Gong is the same Gong in Kung Fu, and it basically means skill. So Qigong is defined as skill of working with or moving the Qi. And so it's like Tai Chi, right? Is a different kind of a way of working with and using Qi, is more of a martial art. Qigong has martial art elements to it. My practice is a little bit on the martial art side, but is more on the healing and well-being side. And it can be very, like this is it's probably hard for you to see, but this is a cloud hands move, and it's hard to see the whole move, but it's really a gathering of the Qi kind of move, and it can be very, very, very slow. And there are many different kinds of Qigong practices that can help to move Qi, but they're coordinated with breath. So breath, and then release, and then breath, and then release. And you can use that kind of breath work in yoga. In fact, in yoga, you can, there's a form of yogic breathing called pranayama. Prana is a very similar word conceptually to Qi. And pranayama is kind of like a skill of working with the breath. And if you taken a yoga class, oftentimes an instructor may say, now breathe into your pose, or breathe into the place where you're feeling the stretch. And that's a way of bringing the Qi, because the energy or the prana, breath carries the Qi or the prana into the place where you are trying to stretch, to open up. And so I do that a lot. You have to use your mind to do that. But if you were doing a stretch, like I'm going to stretch above my head, I can breathe into where the stretch is and just kind of try to send the breath in, to the places where the stretch is. The really good Qigong practice, this is very simple. I can probably show you this sitting down, is you hold your hands like this, you scoop with your hands like this, and you come up over your head, and then you just let them fall with your palms down. You just let them fall. And so you come down to your navel, you scoop up. My cord's gonna get in the way. And then around, and then you let them fall. And really use it as a stretch. Breathing in, and then breathing out. And it's really a soothing practice, very simple. but it really, I mean, we can talk to Dr. Lloyd. Does that, well, what kind of muscle groups or tendon groups might that work with and help to benefit? What's our 3-win fitness folks have to say about something like that?
You want a chance, Jasmine, before I answer?
Okay, what muscle group? Okay, put me in the spot. I would say your upper back in general.
And I find it's really good for releasing tension in shoulders, right? One of my Tai Chi teachers, he just taught me this really simple stretching exercise, which is just to take your shoulders, because I'm sitting like this all the time working on my computer. So he says, just touch your ears with your shoulders. So I will go like this and pull my shoulders up as far as I can, and then just let them drop. And pull them up as far as I can and let them drop. And the going up and down like that makes me realize, whoa, I'm really packing a lot of extra tension into my shoulders, and I haven't really known what it's like to just let my shoulders drop down, right? And so the answer to the question about can you breathe into your exercises? Absolutely. And I noticed before I became a meditator, I was a runner in my kind of through high school and into early college, and a long distance runner. And I found myself using breathing naturally as like kind of regulating my breathing as a way to kind of take my mind off of pain or fatigue that I might be experiencing in my body. And I think that you can use your, you can use breathing techniques in a very similar way. It's really good for you, coordinating breath with, like, say you're doing curls with weights, to keep your breath as breathing in and breathing out can really help you focus on the work that your body's doing. Because it's really easy to do curls and be like jamming to a tune or being distracted by people that are around and not being present with your body. But if you add the extra, I'm going to pay attention to my breathing while I'm doing curls, it creates a different level of awareness and may keep you more focused on just the working of the muscles and what you're actually doing when you're doing a curl. I don't know, is that part of the training that you all do in 3 Wins, the kind of mental focus on the movement of the muscles and so forth at the same time?
Yeah, so when we do like push-ups, hinges, or squats, we help them focus on the breathing. As they're coming out, they're exhaling. It's to help with the proprioception, so they're more aware of their muscles rather than going through the motion.
I have a question. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a question for people who do these Qigong or Tai Chi, yoga. Are they meditating the whole time? Or say they have a 1-hour session. Are they meditating much of that time, all of the time, or do they set aside a portion of it?
Yeah, I think, well, let's define what meditation is first, right? Meditation is being aware of your presence in a moment without judgment, and going kind of back to our own or our definitions from Jon Kabat-Zinn in previous sessions. And I think it's really easy to go to a yoga class and have your mind not be in the yoga class. It's really easy to go to just a sitting meditation session and not have your mind be there too. But I think that it's generally agreed that if you keep in yoga or in Qigong, if you keep your mind focused on what you're doing, that it is a meditation, and that it's more effective if you use the movement as a meditative experience as well. So like one of in the Zen tradition, which is the tradition that I have a lot of training in, if you go to a retreat in the Zen tradition, there will be 30 to 40 minutes of sitting meditation, and then there is a period of walking. And usually the period of walking lasts for 10 to 15 minutes. And the walking is really interesting because in the Zen tradition especially, the walking is very, very slow. And so if you can imagine like maybe your living room. Just imagine your living room. We probably all have somewhat different shaped living rooms, but you imagine your living room. You might, in 10 minutes, this is the pace, you might walk around your living room for it, maybe 2 times in 10 minutes. So you can imagine how slow of a pace it's step, step, step. It's very easy to lose your balance when you walk that slow. So you have to be super focused on what you're doing, but it's also breath comes in, breath goes out, breath comes in, breath goes out. And it's a very slow, deliberative walk. It's a good way to stretch your legs in between meditation periods, but it's also meditation itself. And in one tradition I practiced, it was a very slow walk for about 7 minutes, and then it was a medium walk for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then it was a really fast walk around the kind of living room for 4 minutes. Really got your heart racing, your heart rate up, and then you go back to sit. All of it is focused on keeping your mind and your body focused together. So breath awareness is connected, but also movement of your body is connected to your mental activity. And I think it's really important to translate that to everything you do, whether it's yoga or weightlifting or running, or especially if you have a knife in your hand chopping vegetables, keep your mind focused on the knife and those vegetables so you don't cut your fingers, right? And for students, if you're studying, keep your mind focused on the books that you're reading or the videos that you're watching or the lectures of your professor without all of the other distractions. I don't know, is that helpful?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tony.
Question. So for that slow walking, let's say like other thoughts come in. Are we supposed to do just acknowledge them and let them go, or just one of those?
Yeah, and it's really important for meditation that you don't resist the experiences that you have or punish yourself, right? And we talked about this in our past sessions, but yeah, it's really easy to get distracted. Like you're walking and then it's like, I wonder what they're doing over there. Or, I've got to, start making the list of all the things that you have to do, but then just kind of shake yourself out of that and just say, oh, that was me then. Now, right now, I'm focused back on walking. And then just keep focusing on the walking. And eventually, the habit of mind of focusing on what you're doing will become very strong. And all of those distractions that come to your mind will dissipate. And when they come up, it will be easy to notice them before they even are in your head. You'll notice, that's coming again. And then as soon as you recognize it, it goes away. But it's never perfect because you probably all have that karmic jukebox in your head, that song that shows up that comes out of nowhere, and you hate the song sometimes too, and it just wants to play over and over and over again, sometimes for hours during a day, right? Sometimes like I think it come up during a day, I think I've gotten rid of it, and then I go to sleep and I wake up and the song is right there. Like, what the heck what's that about? But it's just, it's just becoming familiar with the habits of your mind and not punishing yourself for those things, because it's, it's like your stomach growling. You can't control when your stomach's going to growl sometimes.
Following up on Tony's question, what about your hands? Do you do anything as you're walking slow?
Yeah, so in the Zen practice, if you can see, you hold your hands like this. In Zen practice, we hold our hands in our lap, and it looks like this. This is called a mudra. It's called in Zen, they call it, the translation is a cosmic mudra. And the walking meditation is you simply you take your thumb, insert it into your palm, close your hand around your palm, and then you just you wrap your hand like this and you hold it. If you could see me, I'm holding it about a fist's distance away from my chest, and that's how you'll hold your hands, with a level, right, kind of in the middle of your sternum. And so it's the slow walk, holding your hands like this. In the practices with the fast walk, we let our hands drop. It's way too hard to keep your balance with the fast walk if you're trying to hold your hand like that. But you'll see, images of monks, or in Zen retreats, doing slow walking. You'll see them always holding their hands like this. I wish that we could do some in-person slow walk, because it's really beautiful practice. It's really great meditation, but it's also really good exercise too. Balance, there's a little bit of cardio in it, and a lot of mental awareness. And it's important to remember that these kinds of techniques they're mental awareness for your everyday life. What you do in a yoga class or on a sitting cushion or in a session like this is practice for when you're not doing meditation, to keep your mind stable and focused and aware of who you are and what you're doing in a moment. Does that help?
It does.
So 20 minutes ago, we were going to do some sitting meditation. Let's do some sitting meditation. This is, let's do this. Jasmine just reminded me of something. Touch your shoulders to your ears, and then just let it fall. You can even take an in-breath. In-breath. And then out-breath, let it fall. In-breath. And let it fall. So for a meditation method, we can just do some simple counting. Breath comes in. We'll try to keep our spine straight. You can sit how you're sitting. Just sit in a way that allows you to keep a sense of being grounded. You can keep your hands in whatever posture that you like. We talked about keeping your hands flat on your thighs in the past, or keeping your hands with palms up on your thighs, or the mudra I just showed you like this, just resting in your lap, the cosmic mudra. Whatever's comfortable for you. It's important that you know what to do with your hands, because oftentimes when we sit in meditation, we want to use our hands to fidget, like, oh, I've got that itch, or crack your knuckles or something like that. Just put your hands in a place and then let them rest there. Meditation method: breath will come in, breath will go out, and as breath comes out, count silently to yourself 1. Breath will come in, breath will go out, and count silently to yourself 2. And keep with that method until you've reached a count of 10. When you hit 10, let the breath come out, and then start back over at 1. And cycle 1 through 10. If you get lost, you count beyond 10, it's okay. Just come back to 1. If you forget the number, if you lose count, it's okay. Just come back to 1. And we'll do that meditation for a few minutes. I like to use the bell, a technology of meditation, to start the meditation, and I'll use the bell to end the meditation. So listen for the bell to start your counts, and then the bell to end. Feel the breath come in. Feel the breath go out. Counting silently. If you get lost or distracted with your count, it's okay. Just come back to 1 and start again. Try your best to stay focused on your breath. If you lose your way with your counting, just come back. Focus on your breath, starting at 1. So how did everybody do with that?
I couldn't get past 5.
Can I suggest you think about it a different way? You got to 5. And that's a big accomplishment. And some days you may not be able to get to 2. Some moments of days you may not be able to get to 2. And some moments of days you'll do 5 cycles of 10, no problem. So, but you got to 5. Good job.
Well, I probably cheated. I probably did 15 for every 10 because I sort of lost count, but I knew I was in the ballpark of the middle there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that that's pretty common too, that you can, our mind can kind of run away with things a little bit, right? And also we can be counting and doing other things at the same time with our minds. Do you notice that about yourself? I can count, I'm counting and I'm really focused on counting my breath, but I'm running another conversation at the same time. But I know when I get to 10, right? And I can start again, but I still got that other conversation going. It's really weird how our minds can work like that. But sometimes when I get to 10, the other conversation gets a lot more interesting. And then I go to 11, I go to 12. There's times where I've counted, into the 30s. And I'm like, oh no, I totally lost track of what I was counting. but I am counting my breath, but I totally lost track. But those moments where you're like, I lost track, and we talked about this in the past, when you recognize that you've lost track, those are moments of insight, because that's the moment where you remembered that you were mindless, that you lost the focus of your, you lost awareness of your mind, that you weren't in the present moment. So even if you get to 2 and then you can't remember if it was 7, it wasn't, 1, 2, and it's like, where was I? Was I 6? Was I at 10? Right? The moment where you have the recognition that you can't remember, that's a moment where you're actually present, and that you're aware of what your task is, your method, which is to stay with your breath. So for both of you, good job. Other reflections, experiences that you had?
I was actually able to do what you said, counting to 10. So I did 3 sets of 10, but halfway I knew my breathing wasn't going. I was like running. My breathing wasn't going with what I wanted to do. So I had to get in sync again.
Yeah, and it's a good question because, and there are different approaches to using your breath in your meditation, and some approaches encourage you to regulate your breath. So I'm going to take deep breath and then let it out, and I'm maybe even going to count breath 1, 2, 3. Hold 1, 2, 3. Release 1, 2, 3. So it's more of a regulated breath. And there's another approach which I prefer. It's just to let your breath teach you what it needs for you right now in this moment. So sometimes breath is deep and full and invigorating or relaxing, and sometimes breath is short breath, right? Sometimes it's deep and long, and sometimes it's just, I just need that short breath. That's a quick one, right? And then 2 is, right? So you can know what your body, learn to know what your body needs and to let your body tell you what it needs.
Okay. I thought it was always a slow inhale and slow out. So that's what I was doing.
Yeah, and that's probably my fault to some degree, and because I started talking about Qigong, because Qigong uses a lot of regulated breath. This is a breath, and then this is an in breath, and then this is an out breath. So you move the breath with the with the movement of your body. Or this is a breath, inhale and then exhale. But in sitting meditation, you can just work with the breath as it's natural breath.
I think we're all trained in 3-1-5. That's the journey to health, regulated breathing.
Yeah, and I think that's I think you should use that as to your advantage, actually, right? Is that it's what I encourage people to do, and this is partially based on what's recommended in meditation traditions and on my own experience, is to settle into a meditation practice that you feel fits you. And if a style of breathing like 3-1-5, you've got it down and it works for you, try to adapt that to your own sitting meditation practice. But and maybe you're taught this too, you have styles of meditation, but to be flexible with them as well too.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When I was doing the breathing, I could notice that where I have all this tension on my back, is that normal?
So I'm not sure if Jessica broke up for me. I'm not sure if she broke up for everybody.
But a little.
So go ahead, Tony.
I was gonna ask, can you repeat the question, Jessica?
Yes. When I was breathing, so I did the 10, so I did the 10, and I noticed that my breathing was fast, but then I noticed where I have tension too. So I want to know if that's normal too.
I think so. And I think what, I'm not you, and I don't live in your body. And so I don't want to impose my own like impressions based on my own experience on your experience. But I noticed for myself that when I let my body kind of relax into meditation experience, that my body and my mind start to relax, and I start to notice things that I normally don't. Like I might notice the air conditioning in a new way, or I might feel my house or my home settling, right? I might feel or hear my heartbeat, right? Or I might, start to feel different things about my body. And sometimes, and I think this is very common for people actually, that we start to become aware of the tension that we carry in parts of our body, because we're normally so busy either tensing our bodies up or being active or having our minds distracted that we're not aware of, that where we're carrying tension. And that could be where you have an experience of tension because that's a experience that you have commonly. You just are not quiet and settled, so you won't be aware of it. It could also be that your sitting posture is not right for you. Maybe you're leaning forward, or you're too rigid in your sitting posture, and it's just putting a strain like on your back. There could be a number of things like that. Of course, if you feel like that, if you feel like you're having an experience of tension or something, see a physician or about that, just because it may be something that you need to have looked at. I had a friend who practiced meditation pretty regularly for about 6 months, and then she realized that she had a tension in her stomach that she'd not really noticed before, and it just became more and more aware of it when as she was meditating. And for her, she went to see a doctor, and a doctor was able to say, it's because you have this condition, and he was able to help her treat it. And it was because that she had this, it wasn't a serious condition, but it was something that she never noticed. She was a student, and so she was probably really stressed all the time and really busy reading and all of those things. You all know that, right? And so when her mind was quieted, she recognized how she was maybe misusing her body in some ways, and that it really showed that she needed to do a little bit more relaxation and focusing on herself to make sure that she was, to improve her well-being. I don't know, does that help to answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and I'll add something else to this too, and this is based on Qigong practice, is that when you do find tension in your sitting practice, you can actually direct the breath to those places where you have tension, and use your mind to say, okay, I'm going to breathe. Breath is coming in, but I'm going to direct the breath to the point of tension I have in my back and encourage that part of my back to relax. Right?
Okay.
Breath comes in.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, and then, and in Qigong, there's a lot of visualization. You could actually visualize golden, beautiful light coming in an inhale, coming into your lungs, and then going to the place, you directing it to the place where you're having tension, and then just visualizing that that light healing that part of your body, wherever it is, if it's your back or your hip, or it could be your shoulders or your toes or whatever it might be, and just bringing that light in, and just that light is healing everything that it touches, but going to the place where you're finding that that kind of tension or a bit of stress in your body. So you can try that as well too.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Tony.
Like to add on to what you're talking about the breathing into the tense parts. When I'm stretching, that's what I feel like. When I'm breathing, I feel which part is the most tense, and then focusing on the breath allows me to get into a deeper stretch, especially with my
Yeah.
hamstring stretches.
Yep, I do exactly the same thing, right? And so it's a good technique for, you know, putting your mind into the places where you feel like that you want to work on, that you want to improve, or that you want to release tension. If you add the visualization component, it's really hard to do actually, because now you're working with your mind, right, with your body, and you are doing something which you're using your mind in a pretty complicated way to visualize golden light, feeling the golden light, and then having it go to a certain part of your body. It's hard to listen to the karmic jukebox or to make a laundry list when you're doing all of those kinds of things. And I think it's actually really powerful as well too. Any other reflections on that meditation experience? How long do you think we sat?
5 minutes.
Yeah, we sat about 5 minutes. Yeah, and sometimes you will sit for a meditation period and you'll think it goes by just like that, and sometimes it will seem like it's hours. It just depends on kind of where your mind is at. Exercise the same way, I think, too, right? So the more that you can keep your mind focused in the moment, the faster time will go and the deeper every moment will be for you. It's very strange that a moment, in a really focused moment, could last for a whole hour. And it will seem like it goes by just like that. So some other tech tools. I want to just share a couple of things with you, some simple things, and we'll get more complicated. So we just used a couple of meditation technologies. One is the method that we use for our meditation, which is we were counting the breath. I also described kind of crudely and briefly a visualization method, you know, breathing in golden light and then allowing it whatever tension or kind of you know, stress that you might have in your body to be released. This is another technology. I don't know if any of you have seen a pillow like this. This is called a zafu, and this is a sitting pillow. I'll put the name in the chat. And ZAFU, and this is a pillow that's designed in a certain way. It's designed for you to sit as you sit with your sit bones, not quite in the middle of the pillow, but toward the front of the pillow, so that your hip joints will open. I'm not sure what the best way to do this is. Will open on the edges of the pillow, so when they do open, your knees can fall to the ground. If you sit on square on the pillow, your hip joints will rest up here, not on the edge. And because they're up on the top of the pillow, they will stay level. Your legs will stay level. If you sit with your hip joints about right here on the pillow, your knees can fall to the ground. Why is that important? It's important because when you sit in meditation on the ground, if you sit in just a normal cross-legged position, your knees generally don't touch the ground, right? Your sit bones and then your feet, but your knees don't touch the ground. It's not a very stable position, right? You're kind of like, when I was a kid, we had these toys called Weebles. Anybody remember a Weeble? Weebles wobbled, but they don't fall down. They were like egg-shaped toys, and they were like, had like faces on them, and you could bounce them around and stuff, but they would always stand back up, right? When you sit like that, you're kind of like a Weeble because you don't have stability on the ground. But sitting on a zafu like this will allow your sit bones to anchor you on the pillow and then your knees to anchor you on the floor. And when you can do that, if you start to get too relaxed, you won't fall over. You won't be a weeble. So that's another really simple technology. This is another very simple technology. This is called, you've seen people wear these probably. This is called a mala. It's not just decorative. This is also, I'll put the name in the chat. The Indian, this is the Indian word, the mala. The Indian word, the Indian mala and the Christian rosary, they actually have the same historical kind of origins, or similar historical origins. And these are Bodhi seed beads, and they are strung together just with an elastic cord. And they're like with a rosary, they're used to count. And you can, but the counting in meditative traditions is a meditation itself. And so silently, you could count whatever affirmation that you decided that you wanted to count. Today is going to be a good day. Silently to yourself. And that's 1. Today is going to be a good day. 2. Today is going to be a good day. 3. Today is going to be a good day. Today is going to be a good day. Today is going to be a good day. And if you think about doing that, today is going to be a good day. Yes, it's something that is positive and maybe motivational, but the faster you count, the more meaningless what you say will become to you. Because it becomes, today's going to be a good day, 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 today's going to be, you kind of get what I mean. And it's more about the practice of saying what you're saying, the physical practice and the mental awareness of your practice, of saying that, and the counting is designed to help keep your mind focused. And oftentimes when I'm on the bus or I'm on an airplane or I'm waiting, I will use a mala, and I will just use a recitation of something that, that I want to use, an affirmation or a mantra that I use, just to keep myself focused in that moment. Because it's hard for me to do meditation when I'm waiting for line in the DMV, but it's easy for me to keep my mind focused when I'm counting beads. So that's another really good way to, to kind of train your mind to stay focused in the moment. I love singing bowls. This is something that I like to use to just listen to the bell, how it comes and how it leaves, how it comes and how it leaves. Let me see if I can get this one to sing. It's also really fun to play. Can you hear this okay? My cat is not enjoying that. But this can also be very beautiful, kind of listening to the sound as it comes, and then it peaks, and then it starts to dissipate.
Do you repeatedly play it?
I can, yeah. I have some big crystal bowls, and they will shake the windows in the house. They're really amazing, and I love to just play it, and just to play it softly and to keep it going. One thing that's interesting about this, it's difficult to do this through Zoom, but there is a vibration that comes with this that you feel in addition to hear. And that feeling is something that you can use as part of the meditation as well, is the feeling of the sound and the listening to the sound at the same time, because it really fills all of the space in a room. So I will keep it going like that. And then just get lost, focused in the sound. You can go to, put this in the chat. You can go to what are called sound baths. Any of you ever been to a sound bath? And it's an environment where maybe it's just one person or several people, and they're playing these bowls to fill the room with sound. And you have the best job if you go to a sound bath. You just get to lay or sit and listen and feel to the sound. Feel the sound. It's very soothing and relaxing. And also, I do think that there's something to the vibrations that the sound brings that just helps to take some of the tension out of your body. And related to that, this is one of my current research projects. This is called...
Can I ask a question about
the
symbol?
Yeah.
Will a tuning fork do the same?
And I use tuning forks a lot too, because you can, in fact, I don't have a lot of experience with healing and tuning forks, but they're used a lot in healing practices. One of my friends has a chiropractor who uses tuning forks regularly, and my friend says that the chiropractor takes the stress out of She has problems with her knees, out of her knees with the tuning fork in this really remarkable way. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but she will strike a tuning fork, put it up to a joint in the knee, and it just kind of opens the knee up in some way, and that she's like, instantly it makes her feel better.
There might be a pathway to the brain.
Possibly. It could, I'm not sure the theory behind this chiropractor's practice, but it could be related to kind of chi meridian practice or some other kind of, maybe it works on affecting the tendons and the ligaments instead of the muscles, or I'm not 100% sure, but she vouches for it, and she's very rational. So she doesn't believe in the hocus pocus mystical kind of, chi kind of stuff, but for her, the tuning forks work really well. This is a sub-pack. This is a seat back. They also make sub-pack vests. I was going to demonstrate this for you today, but it's really hard to do this over Zoom. This is you Bluetooth this to music, and when you Bluetooth this to music, this vest allows you to feel the music that you hear. And it's designed with a bunch of speakers all throughout the vest itself, and it captures the low end, the bass, for the most part of music. And it is, when my friends designed this, so I've been doing research. The company is called Subback. I'm not plugging them. That's just their company. And they made these for DJs who worked in loud environments and who weren't often able to hear the music as it was coming, it was moving into the room. So they designed these vests so they could feel what the music sounded like. And as they felt the music, then they could get a sense of, do I need to add more or less of a certain type of quality to the music. And when I heard about this, I was like, well, there's a well-being component to this, because if you can feel the music that you listen to, and the music is a soothing music but has a low end to it, it can help people. It can be the meditation method that might be used in sitting meditation. So instead of hearing, counting to yourself, you're just feeling the music. And the vest is such that you can't not feel it. If you have it turned up just right, it will push all the distractions out of your mind, because it's music, it's tactile, and it has an audio component as well. And it's incredibly, incredibly powerful. And I would love to be able to show you how that works. Maybe at another time when we're not doing all of this through virtual and through coronavirus. And then the last thing, yeah.
Do you think deaf people have this? They're more, we could do it without that device, but we're not tuned in. But the deaf people from the beginning might be more sensitive.
Yep, exactly. And we've been talking with the folks at the National Center on Deafness at CSUN, because we do think that it's another way to experience music, right? It's not a way to experience sound, right? As we experience sound for someone who's deaf, it's not a way to experience sound. It's a way to experience music that is completely unique. And that it could be used for meditation purposes or just for, listening to music purposes. And so we've actually been talking with the deaf community about ways that they can use, and so is Subback, about ways that they can use the, a vest like that. This is, you may have seen things like this. This is a device called the Muse. Again, I'm not plugging them. I don't work for them. I don't know who they are, but this is a device that rests, on your head. And what it does is you calibrate the device so that and you Bluetooth this, and it will feel your brain activity. And as it feels your brain activity, it's connected to a app on a tablet or on a phone. I'm going to take this off so I don't look funny. But it's a very light device, and what will happen, this really interesting meditation experience, that it will be set to the sound of rain. And as your mental activity becomes very agitated, the rain gets louder, stormy, thunder. And as your mental activity quiets, the rain gets quieter, the storms go away. And when you become very, very quiet and very focused, you hear birds chirp. And your goal is to hear as many bird chirps as possible in a meditation period. It's really an interesting device. And there's a number of devices that are out there like this, which will map onto your brain activity and can allow you to just in a very unique way to be aware of the, how your mind works. And then it gives you a log on your phone of the ups and downs and spikes of your mental activity, and when you had the bird chirps and how many bird chirps that you had in a session. So, and I know, Dr. Lloyd popped out, but, and I know we're at 3 o'clock. The
name of that last device? This
is called Muse.
So it's not related to an electroencephalogram?
I think the technology is somewhat similar, but they're different. They're different technologies. In fact, there are a whole bunch of technologies that are coming out, these mental activity trackers that are coming out that you can buy. The Muse is probably on the least expensive side, and it's the easiest to use. I'll just mention one other thing, and it's just because it's kind of fun. There's a game, I forget what it's called, but there's a game that also uses a Muse-like device that you put on your head, and you can use, when you're focused, there's a ball that will float up in the air. There's a jet of air that will blow like a ping pong ball up, right? And the more focused that you are, the higher the ball will blow. I put it on my wife, the headband, when she's watching TV, and the ball just go plop. It just focuses down. I'm like, okay, pay attention. And then the ball goes up, right? And I would wear it when I was reading. My focus was really intense, and the ball would go up, right? So, and anytime with this game, anytime your focus is strong, it will move the ball. And it's a 2-player game. So it's you can move the ball from one part of the it's like a little playing field, from one part of the playing field to another on a track with a bunch of air, and the person with the highest focus can push the ball all the way to the other person's side. So there's a bunch of really neat devices like that are coming out that are really about mind training devices, and improving your focus and ability to keep your mind in the present moment and to improve your concentration.
It seems like there might be some applications for casinos and
yeah.
Somehow read it without the other person knowing.
Yep, absolutely. And and also, quite frankly, I think there's some really good applications for physical activity as well too. The unfortunate thing about the Muse is that you can't do any kind of movement while you're wearing this, because there are sensors that are aligned all the way along the inside. And if you dip your head a little bit or move to the side, the sensors will be, because they're responsive to your skin, they'll become separated from your skin, and then it will have to be recalibrated again. So you have to really stay, pretty quiet and pretty still. But there's some other devices that will fit on top of your head, which might be a little bit more amenable to movement. With the sub pack, the vibration vest that CPAC that I showed you, we are working. I've started to try to, before COVID, we were starting to work with CSUN Athletics Department to see if how the a vibroacoustic device like this could be used in order to take an athlete, bring them down after an intense performance to kind of take the edge off. But also you can pump up some pretty, jazzy, intense bass inspired music to really bring you up too, and use it while you exercise. So we were looking at it in both ways to, it's like to bring people up in to get ready for athletic performance, like focus of body and mind, and also to bring them down after athletic performance. One of the things that athletic trainers told us is that a lot of athletes after like an evening basketball game or a sports contest, that they have a hard time sleeping. And that just kind of the adrenaline is pretty high. And so we're wondering if like that sub pack could help bring people up, but then bring them down at the end of a pretty intense workout or day. So, well, we're at the 3 o'clock hour. I don't want to,
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So one of my friends gifted this little bracelet for me. So I was wondering, it has a little elephant down here.
Yeah.
Does it work the same as the mala that you presented?
Sure, absolutely. I think that it doesn't have to be special or made of anything that is I guess it depends on your belief system. You can have malas that are made of quartz or of crystal, of amethyst, that may have certain special meaning or even energy if you believe that. My favorite mala is a plastic amber cover mala, and I just like it. It's plastic, right? And I don't think it has any vibrational energy except for the fact that I like it. And I think that but the goal is to really keep your focus on the use of the mala and its ability to help you focus your mind. If you wanted to use your mala, this central bead here is called a guru bead, and you kind of have a guru bead, right?
Elephant.
Yeah, exactly. And so in using, so that you don't count past 10, so to speak, as you count through the mala, when you get to the guru bead, the practice is to never count the guru bead. You turn the mala over and you go back the other direction. And it's not because the guru bead is special that you shouldn't count it. You can think about it as it's because you don't just want to get into the counting mindlessly, counting to 30 when you're supposed to count to 10. So when you get to that place in the, at the end, that's a indication for you to start over and to kind of just reset your mind so you're focused on that moment. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Last thing I'll mention, I'll just put this in the chat. There's a whole bunch of apps that you can use for meditation practice. Do any of you use apps for meditation practice?
I should, but I don't.
I mostly put YouTube.
Yeah. Insight Timer is a good one. Budify. Whoops, I spelled that wrong. B-U-D-D. Budify. Calm. Headspace. These are, whoops, it's not Clam, it's Calm. These are very popular apps, and the thing that's really neat about each of these apps is that they have their meditation timers and meditation trackers. They allow you to log your meditation time. An app like Insight Timer connects you to a whole community around the world that is also using the app and are doing meditation. And so you can use it's like in meditation Facebook. And there are also a number of guided meditations in each of these apps, so that there is someone giving you instructions. Take a breath in, take a breath out, so that you can use that as your method to keep you focused. Or let's go through a walk in a forest. You walk into a clearing. What do you see? The wind feels very calm and the sun feels very warm on your face, right? And just kind of taking you through a short kind of guided meditation into a very calm, serene space. So those are difficult to show in a Zoom session, but most of those are free, so you can explore those on your own.
Well, I find it amazing how there's all this modern technology application to very ancient practice.
Yes, yeah, and I'm gonna put this word in the chat too, and I know we're way over time. Don't be suckered into mindfulness. You know, we can McDonaldize everything, right? Our education, our childcare, our medical care, and by kind of making it quick, or at least seem quick, fast, easy, convenient, but without a lot of depth. And there's a whole consumer industry around mindfulness right now, encouraging you to buy the right cushions and the right clothing and the right malas, and spend a lot of money for guided meditations. Meditation can be very, very simple. You don't need a $100 Muse or a $300 vibration vest to have very powerful, rich mindfulness practice and experience. So technology definitely has its advantages, but it can also lead us astray too, because we can get fixed on the technology instead of on the practice. Well, it's 3:10. Other questions? I hope this was helpful.
Learned a lot of new things.
Yeah, well, good. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Stay cool, stay hydrated. Have a good weekend.
Thank you very much.
You too.
All right.
Thank you, Dr. Boyns.
Okay, good to see you all.
Okay. Bye, Tony. Bye, everyone.